My name is Solonje Burnett.
And I'm Dolan.
Gregg, Weiss.
Buchman.
My name is Violas.
Starting with the retail operators, I would love to hear what you think are the most critical components of a retail tech stack that need to be flexible and scalable over time.
If I had to pick one, it's definitely point of sale. That's the hub of everything. Your integrations integrate into your e-com, your menu system, your app. Getting your point of sale right is really number one. Number two, I would say, is e-com, your website, whether that's an embed or headless. Those are my top two.
I look at POS and transaction data as transaction data, customer data as customer data. Where it's coming from, not necessarily important so long as it's the right data. Making sure it's normalized and simplified so that you can plug other things in and or use that information to extrapolate from other data sets, and normalization of it's the most important thing.
I think at the core of all this is inventory, right? That has gravity everywhere we go. And so it pulls a lot of other things in, the customers, the transaction. So I always say inventory, yes, the point of sale is very much that, but very hard if you distill everything down and you normalize it. That is what has gravity and should be the most important thing to focus on, especially as a retailer, right? Because that is cash, that is your livelihood, that's your balance sheet. Needs to be really taken care of thoughtfully and can expand right to other systems and work across other platforms as well.
To be able to deliver a seamless experience on the back of house is truly important. But also on the customer side, how can misaligned tools impact the customer experience?
For me, the core of the whole thing is the clean data from the product catalog, so a single ID from operations all the way through sale, and then a single customer ID through the whole journey as well. If you have clean data, we see it every day, it increases conversion. Customers know what they're buying, they know the brand, they can see the brand in any form it shows up, either in e-com, in the store, and so clean data is the core to the entire stack. All the rest is just building technology on top of that.
Misaligned data, wrong price. One price is on Weed Maps, one price is on your e-com, one price is on your in-store menu. It all starts with fulfillment, entering in the right price, not fat fingering it, and that impacts the customer. You have to honor that price. Whether it's, I forgot to take down a special one day, we're not running it today, and your screen says it's still a special, but so misaligned data as it relates to pricing really impacts the customer experience and your bottom line.
Being able to be transparent and give some feedback to your providers is, I think, very important.
POS companies and tech don't understand from an operational standpoint what you need and why.
Our entire reason for being in our platform is an open ecosystem. We believe 100% in the power of choice, and it's all about how the retailer is going to win. And so we've spent a lot of time building the core data set, the catalog, which is integrated across Weed Maps and Leafly and everything like that, customer IDs. From there, we've spent a lot of time building really sophisticated integrations with almost every tech provider there is in the industry for that exact reason. We don't want to dictate someone to create an individual tech stack. I think it's very important to allow the retailer to build that stack against their objectives.
What guidance would you give retailers on carefully evaluating the integration needs with your tech partners?
From my perspective, I've been with Happy Valley for almost 6 years, and tech 5 years ago when I was vetting cannabis tech companies is very different than today. I had to cobble together a CRM, loyalty, there was no Alpine at that time. So vetting tech companies it's about usability, it's about cost. It's also about how stable is the company, how much runway do you have? You want to invest all this time and money and energy into a platform, and then 12 months they run out of money and they're gone, and then you're left hanging. So yeah, it's about technology. It's also about vetting the actual company, the people, the team, the customer service. How well are they responsive to you and your needs? What's the product roadmap look like? You want to do stuff. Does it get kicked down the road and you just keep getting told the same answer? So those are all things to consider when you're vetting tech companies, but it's a very different landscape now. Better, for sure, than it was 5 years ago.
Randy is in a very different stage. Like each customer, each retailer, right, has their own strengths. When I hear programmatic access, I get really excited, having worked formerly at AWS, and I want you to build on top of our tool sets, right? I want you to build custom, procurement modules.
I won't do business with it if you don't let me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great to see that sophistication. But again, he's in a very different point in the journey for his dispensary. So or operation here. In this case, his simplification needs are going to be very different than, let's say, the brand new New York operator starting next week. I think that's really important to look at, right? Right tool for the right job at all stages of the life cycle is really, really important. And again, when we talk about simplifying and choosing that partner, like, can you find someone that you can start with the very basics?
If I can call the person that makes the decisions that can change something, if I can talk to you and you're going to fix it and change it for me, that's important. If I can't, I'm done with you. I'll find somebody that I can. If I need what I need it now. And if the provider can give me that kind of service, then they have my business. Very important. Make sure that you can talk to them. First of all, they understand what you're saying, and they're willing to provide you with what you need.
Blown away that the biggest need is service transparency, roadmap from providers. I mean, these are like, I would hope all the providers that's where they start with, and that's where they start the relationship with. There is a balance between custom and scale, though. A tech provider has to build for scale to be relevant and to be able to work with large enterprise clients, right? And deliver a lot of different services. And so there is a balance between everything being custom and scale. And I think it's really important then to talk about the roadmap, understand the roadmap. Do you have shared objectives as partners? Are you going in the same directions? I would even say, are you profitable for that tech company? You know what I mean? It has to be a symbiotic relationship, and you have to understand how you're going to grow together and where you're going to go in the future. And then things like attribution, there's the power of open platform, and we want everyone to work with everybody. There is also a tremendous power of the company that sees your item velocity, that sees your cart, what's in the basket, that understands the flow between your e-com and your point of sale and things like that, can also build a media business. We've built a very large, robust media business doing exactly that, telling our partners not just how many trips you got and not how many things were put in a cart, but actually what happened at the POS, what else is in there. Do you have a long-term stable ID to say, is this a new customer that we just acquired? Is this a switcher that maybe was somewhere else in our large network that we've seen? The solutions are there. For me, the key is, what are the objectives you are solving for? That's what it always comes back to. We met with many partners in Q4 that I have to say, most of them said my 2024 objective was simplifying my tech stack. But when you had that conversation, some meant I only want to make one phone call and work with one partner. Some meant I want to take costs out of my system. Some meant I want to stop chasing shiny objects. Some just meant I'm changing my objectives and I want a new partner, right? So I think a tech stack is a manifestation of what your objectives are, and you can either consolidate that or you can work with an open system that brings in those best partners. But you got to understand what you want to accomplish in the first place.
Yeah.
You need to create a culture of data inside of a company, and that's so important. We're talking right now about what technology you're using. That's not as important. You can throw tech at data, but if your data is not clean and you don't have it continually being done this way and you haven't parametered, anybody that can touch your data or input things into your catalog or different points in your company. I'm looking at enterprise on a vertical, every single thing from multiple distribution centers, multiple retail centers, multiple grows. But the people that touch my information now know exactly what they're putting in, and they can only put it in this way. It's got to be this, or this. And if there's something else that I haven't thought of on your drop down, I don't want anybody typing a product name. I don't want anybody typing anything. Force them to normalize.
What's really important, though, is the culture aspect.
Yeah.
How does one build a data-driven culture and actually educate the appropriate staff and have that turnover, so you don't just have one resident tech dude who's out there handling it all.
It's dangerous because that person's gone now. Or
Right, and then
how
what
many
do you
people,
do?
how many engineers and architects have I gone through in about 4 or 5 years?
Right.
If you don't have continuity of that, then it's you reset, and somebody else got to spin up, and it takes so many 3-4 months to learn my data.